Making the decision to become an automotive mechanic can be a natural path for some people, and for others, you may need to weigh out the pros and cons before you make that decision. So in this video, we are going to go over the pros, the cons, and a couple basic requirements that you're going to need to think about before you make the decision to become a mechanic, so that you can decide if becoming an automotive tech is going to be a good decision for you. So let's go. All of this information is 100% just my opinion from my experience in this trade. So as you're watching, if I miss something or you want to add something in, go ahead and drop a comment down below. But don't knock me in the comments unless you like this video. First things first, let's get a couple requirements out of the way. The first one being having a natural interest in vehicles. If you don't have a natural interest in vehicles and working on them and understanding how they work, this is probably not going to be a good trade for you, because this job does come with a lot of hard days. And if you don't have a passion for what you're doing, it's going to be really easy for you to quit. So if you're not going to have that passion, there are other careers out there, like dog surfing instructor. Look it up. It's a thing. But if you don't think that's going to be a good spot for you and you still want to be a mechanic and you want to turn wrenches, you want to solve problems, this can be a very fulfilling career that provides for you and your family. There's also a need for mechanical aptitude, meaning if you like knowing how things come apart, how to take them apart, how to figure out how they work. Basically, if you're a tinkerer, yes, that's a word, this is going to be a good video for you to watch. So with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the positives, because it's not all bad, right? For me, the number one thing that comes with being a mechanic is getting paid to help people get back on the road. People use their cars for everything, to get groceries, to get to work, to pick up their kids, and you're the person who gets to help them get that done. That can be very rewarding. And I would go as far to say that in comparison to other jobs, I don't know if there's many other jobs where you get the same satisfaction. You know, if you're selling insurance or you're doing something else, I don't know if you're like, wow, I really got to help this person to that extent, but that's just my opinion. The second best thing in my opinion is that if you do choose to go this route, you will almost always have a job. The demand for techs is generally steady, and the demand for good techs, really good techs, in my opinion, is at an all-time high. This means two different things. For one, obviously you'll never be in need of a job. For two, if you do develop your skill set, if you do keep learning and you get better, you will eventually become irreplaceable. Your company will not be able to find someone easily that can do your job. So therefore, since the demand is up, you will be able to demand top dollar for your skill set where you're working now or where you choose to go work in the future. Lastly, if you choose to work in this field, another great thing about it is that you will never have to pay to get your car fixed, with the exception of buying the parts. This will save you a lot of time and money. On top of that, you can apply that same point to helping your family, helping your friends, and even making money on the side, fixing people's cars on the side outside of work. Moving on to the not so great parts, I would say one of the biggest cons of this trade is that you are going to take a beating on your body. Your hands are going to get banged up, your knees, your head, you're going to hit your head on stuff. Just physically, it is a demanding job. So if that's a deal breaker for you, that's something I would consider off the top, because it can be a deal breaker. The next con I'm going to discuss is going to be the fact that you do have to buy your own tools. Yes, there are other trades where you have to buy tools to be able to do your job, but I don't know of very many that the cost of those tools is going to run you $20,000, $30,000, even $50,000 sometimes, depending on the type of mechanic you choose to become. Me personally, yes, I can see that as being a con, because you do have to pay to get in a way. But also the thing is, you are always going to own those tools. You are always going to be able to make money with those tools where you work or where you work in the future. At home, if I ever need tools, I know I already own them. So, and then likewise, you'll be able to help your family, help your friends, or just work on stuff around the house, whatever you need. You'll already have the tools and you already know how to use them. So I still see it as a pro, because once you get into this trade, you'll have those tools pretty much for life unless you sell them. Don't ever sell your tools, by the way. Also, if you're curious on how to save money, I have a whole video on that, and I'll put the link in the description below. The last con or negative thing I'm gonna say about working in this field is that you always have to be learning, meaning that even once you do finally get good, you're still going to be learning because new vehicles are being developed every year. Manufacturers are always changing stuff, changing powers and grounds, changing the way components work, changing the way components interact with the computers. So you will always be learning, and this can be frustrating on a day-to-day basis because a lot of times you'll have to research and learn that system just to get through the job that's right in front of you, which can be frustrating because it will slow you down. But you only have to learn it once, and then you know it, and there's going to be thousands of those vehicles. So I still see that as a positive in the aspect of, if you like to learn, if you like doing something different every day, if you like a challenge, then the learning and all the problems that come with it are going to make it more interesting, not boring, not monotonous. So it just kind of depends how you look at it. Like I said, it comes down to the individual, and this is one of those things. If you want a boring job where you do the same thing every day, this is not for you. You're going to do something every day. You could do the same vehicle 10 times. Each time it could be the same problem for the same vehicle. Each time it's going to be a different variation of that problem. And so it's kind of interesting in that way, and it never gets boring. So look at that as a pro or a con. I know a lot of people don't like it. They don't like having to research and learn the new vehicles and new systems and the different problems and the variances and the nuances of all the problems, but it just comes down to the person if you like problem solving. Ultimately, this can be a very rewarding and fulfilling career to get into, but it 100% comes down to who you are as a person, your skill set, your interests, and your career goals, if this is going to be a good fit for you. So weigh out all the options, weigh out all your pros and cons before you make that decision, because it's my opinion that if you don't have a passion for this at some level, you will get out of it and you will waste a bunch of time. I see big Snap-on boxes, big tool sets all the time on Facebook Marketplace, and it is not because they need the money. It's because they no longer need those professional tools, and they thought they loved this trade. Now they're getting out of it. So don't be one of those people. Don't waste a bunch of money on expensive tools and then get out of this trade. Make sure you have a passion for it. Make sure you want to stick this out. But if you like turning wrenches, getting your hands dirty, solving problems every day, this can be a really good career for you to get into. Me personally, I love it. I've hated it a lot of times, and I've been through waves, ups and downs. So this can be a really good field to get into. If you think you're gonna like it, you probably will. If you have a passion for vehicles, you probably will love it. So like I said, it 100% comes down to the person, whether or not you will like it or not, whether or not you will make it. But you can make decent amount of money, which I have a video on how much money you probably will make if you want to watch that too. I'm gonna leave it at that. If I missed something, if you want to add something, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. Love reading the comments. You guys always give me good stuff, interesting points to make about what I'm talking about, and I really appreciate the comments. Go ahead and hit that like button if you got some value from this. Hit the subscribe. I have more videos coming out. See you guys next time. Thanks.